Hi, everybody. How are we? Good evening. Patty, I'm back. I'm back. Hey, JPC. JPC, I got your email and I can't figure out how to set that up. So I'm working on that. I'm not very good at that stuff. So I'll let you know. I will email you back, I promise. Welcome back, Noreen. Hey, Lenny. How are you? So we started watching this Chandler Halderson thing. And then the holidays happened, and then I got sick, and it's just been a hot damn mess. So I thought we got to finish this out, right? Um, so I've kind of clipped some stuff. I want to get further along in this so that we're not, dragging this out any more than we need to. The best part of the trial is what I've been told is that when his friend Smith comes up and gives his testimony, and I'm gonna try to get to that tonight. So hope you guys can stay around long enough to do so. Hello, Miss Kimmy. Good to see you, honey. I've missed you too. I missed all you guys. I just haven't had a voice. My voice literally went out on me. I had COVID, I think. I'm not sure. All right, so let's get to this first part that I put together for y'all.
So this particular witness came in and she analyzed the footprints that were found on the tarps that were left with the bodies and also in the trash bins that they connected back to the bodies. And they've confirmed that they were Chandler's. Let's just listen to what she has to say here.
We did, yes.
Okay. And inside the garbage can, that's what the tarp removed, correct?
That's what it removed, yes.
Just a different view of that same tarp?
Correct.
Tell me how you find these prints. Do you literally just get on your hands and knees and look? Is there a special tool you use? How does one go about this?
This is a fairly large item, so it was a little more difficult to, get to the center of it. So in this situation, we did open it up, and I was able to. The best way to sometimes see this is actually in darker, like when the room's dark versus when it's very bright. So we did dim the lights in the room, and I used what we have different. We have flashlights that have different wavelengths. So maybe a purple or maybe UV. So I use the databases.
And were you able to find a shoe consistent with this print?
Yes, I was.
And was that a Brooks Launch 5?
That's correct, it was.
Now, these images are just commercially available images, right, of the Brooks shoe?
Yes, they are.
They're not specific to this case?
No.
Okay. And so then we're going to talk about the other item, the barn tarp. Item S, same procedure. You laid it out, looked, different lighting conditions.
That's correct.
And there you found an impression as well.
That's correct. That's a processed image, yes, or impression.
So at this stage, I imagine the police haven't brought you every shoe they collected in the investigation. They were waiting to see if you found something. And then you asked them, or how does that work?
I had not received any shoes at this time. I issued the reports with these findings of the images that you just saw to, as an investigative lead. And then from there, shoes were submitted to the lab.
So then we have another report, October 28th, Exhibit 433. There, the police bring you some shoes that they found in the case.
Correct.
Showing you what's been marked in this case is exhibit number 359. It's been testified to be a pair of Brooks shoes, size 10.5. And we've heard about some DNA on it, but is that the item you labeled, or your lab's labeled AD, and then 81 and 82 for the two shoes?
Yes, it is.
When I say AD, Adam, David?
Correct.
Okay. So are these photographs of the actual shoes that you were provided from the Halderson house?
Yes, they are. These would be the bottoms of the shoe, the outsole design.
So were you able to draw a conclusion then from the print that you were recovered on the tarp that's in the garbage can, item C2A, and then the piece of duct tape, which is FRD1, to the left ring finger of Mr. Chandler Halderson? Were you able to draw any conclusions?
Yes, I identified the left ring finger of Chandler Halderson to that impression from First and Ridge detail.
Okay, so they also brought one of the detectives back up on the stand, and they started diving into the email addresses of these
people at Chandler Halderson's supposed jobs, the job and the school. So these email addresses that he had used, that he was getting correspondence from at school and at work, saying that he was either his grades were not released yet, or that his check was being worked on and there was an issue in the accounting department, because his dad was questioning, why aren't you getting any checks from your work? So these were the email addresses that he had made up, and he was showing these to his dad. Come to find out, if you look right here, all these email addresses that were created by him under his dad's account.
All right, what about Chandler?
We're going to talk about essentially the entirety of those email accounts, correct?
That's correct.
From creation through when you got access to them.
That's correct.
As it comes to Mr. Halderson, Chandler Halderson at gmail.com, that was his personal email?
Yes.
Were there an extensive amount of emails in that account?
I'd say there were.
Okay. Did you review those emails?
Yes.
Were there ever any emails to or from anyone at American Family Insurance indicating that Mr. Halderson worked there in any capacity?
Specifically American Family, no.
When it comes to the company SpaceX, were there ever any emails regarding a job application or employments with SpaceX?
No.
Does the word SpaceX come up, in fact, at all in any of those Gmail, Mr. Halderson's Gmail account?
No.
Does this document contain messages, emails, this is 549 I'm showing you, that were pulled out by you and other members of law enforcement in what you believe to be relevant to this case?
Yes.
Okay. I'll move exhibit number 549 into evidence.
Any objection other than as noted?
No.
And I'll note for the record, 575 is a USB containing it for display, and I'd move 575 into evidence and ask to publish it.
Those exhibits are received and may be published.
All right. So when we're talking about Mr. Halderson's actual Gmail account, were there emails in that account in between him and these people, supposedly someone named Mr. Spieth, Ms. Brandt, and Mr. Hoover? Did Mr. Halderson's own Gmail account contain those messages?
Yes.
And for purposes of what we're going to look at just first, talking about Mr. Halderson's Gmail account, we did not include those because we're going to look at them when we look at these accounts, right?
That's correct.
Okay. What types of messages were you looking for when looking at Chandler Halderson at gmail.com? What were you trying to figure out?
Any communication with anyone from Madison College, anything related to his employment, either at SpaceX or American Family, any communications with his parents, anyone else. If we identified somebody within the email that we would like to contact, then we went and maybe did an interview of somebody within that email.
Okay. So we're going to look at a number of emails, and we'll start with number 30. We'll just start here. This doesn't look like a normal email. It's in a different format. Tell us about the format that we're looking at these in.
Sure. As Detective Blank just spoke to, the data that he provides us to review as case detectives is within the Cellbrite Reader program. And so we can generate reports from the emails. And again, this is just number 30 within the report we created. On the left is the number 30, the timestamp and date. And then the subject of the emails is to the right of your screen.
Sure. And so this one we'll just talk about its makeup, and we won't do that for all of them. So 30 is a number created by Cellbrite on the far left. That just is the number of the email.
That's correct.
All right. The timestamp there, it says June 7th, 2021 at 8:13 a.m. As we go through this, we won't talk about time a lot, but is that time specifically accurate in this program?
In this program, in this particular report, it is not. So the UTC -5 is in regards to, you actually should add the 5 hours back to the email time. Detective Blank informed me that the Google records were actually received in our central time, and Cellbrite Reader program subtracted 5 hours.
So while the times might not be super relevant today, but if the jury looks at that, they should just think it's plus 5 hours each time.
That's correct.
Okay. And so then at the very top of the column on the right, we have the subject of the email, which is the subject line we always think of in an email.
Yes.
And here it's email from MATC, and the body, that's the actual email that was sent.
Yes, it is.
All right. And we have this one, Chaz, I did not receive the email string regarding the appointment on Thursday. Please send to me, signed Bart Halderson. And Bart Halderson's email is what?
B Halderson at bdo.com.
What is BDO?
It was Bart's place of employment.
His accounting firm?
Yes.
Okay. So you went through these emails and pulled out one's relevance as you discussed. And so we'll start going through those. Talk to me about email 20. If you could just, we have to read it into the record, of course. So I'll just say that it was on June 11th, 2021. The subject was HR. What did that email read?
Did you email HR to inquire about your paycheck? Unless there is something that you are not telling us, they have had ample time to pay you. Bart Halderson.
And that was from Bart to Chandler.
That's correct.
Email 19 on June 11th, 2021. The subject read HR from Chandler to Bart. Could you read the response essentially?
I added him to my room queue, so hopefully soon.
Again, on the same day, we have email number 18. The subject is payment, and it's from Chandler to someone named Tom Selznick at protonmail.com. Could you read the body of that email?
Good afternoon. My name is Chandler Halderson. I was recently made aware of you taking my case. Can I have an explanation of why I haven't been paid yet? Thank you, Chandler.
And then if you look at the time on this one, it's 8:49:35. But shortly after that, on June 11th, obviously we're adding that 5 hours. So June 11th, 2021, Mr. Selznick, someone named Tom Selznick at protonmail.com, emails Chandler Halderson in response. What does he say?
Hi, Chandler. I was given your case on Tuesday. However, I have contacted your payroll company and have determined a few issues. 1, you are registered as salary. However, you are making an hourly wage. 2, for 2 months, the payroll company saw your name and dues as a clerical error. Unfortunately, you have been making $25 an hour when your salary states you should be making $61,000 annually. This is around a $10,000 difference annually. When I get in contact with payroll, I will show them exactly when you were switched and find out why there was a delay on your dues. Have a great rest of your Friday. Tom Selznick. Tom Selznick, Northeast Remote Human Resources Manager.
Email 16 on the same day, June 11th, from Selznick to Chandler. Could you read that?
I updated the log and changed your dues. I'll let payroll know of the change. Keep an eye on your bank account and let me know if you have not been paid by next Friday. Tom Selznick. Northeast, oh, sorry.
You can continue.
Northeast Remote Human Resources Manager.
Number 13. This is
Recourses
June 11th from
manager.
Chandler,
He misspelled
back to
human
Mr.
resources.
Selznick. What does it read?
When is payday for me? I was wondering when I'd get paid.
From email 12, same day, June 11th, 2021, from Mr. Selznick to Mr. Halderson. What does it read?
First payment ASAP, first Friday of each month. Tom Selznick.
Email 10, from Mr. Halderson to Mr. Selznick on the 17th of June now. What does it read?
Good evening. I was hoping to hear the status of my check. Is there anything wrong or holding it back from being delivered? I recently had to go to the emergency room, so I will need my check ASAP. Thank you, Chandler.
Email 9, June 18th, from Mr. Selznick to Mr. Halderson. The subject is still regarding payment. Could you read the body of that email?
Good morning, Chandler. I will make some calls when your office opens to speed things along. I'm sorry to hear about your trip to the ER. That's never fun. I do appreciate your patience with this, Tom Selznick.
Email number 7 on the 18th of June from Mr. Selznick, Mr. Halderson, still regarding payment. Could you read the body of that email?
I will be traveling to Madison, Wisconsin, Wednesday of next week for restructuring of the HR department. It seems there is a lack of communication to be resolved. I will hope to meet you in person and have a sit down on Thursday if you are capable of travel. Tom Selznick.
Email 6 on the 18th of June from Mr. Halderson to Mr. Selznick. Could you read the body of that email?
Yes, that will work fine. I look forward to meeting with you. Thank you, Chandler.
Now to email 4 from Mr. Selznick to Mr. Halderson on the 24th of June. Subject meeting times. What did Mr. Selznick reportedly say here?
Good morning, Chandler. I'm holding a board meeting this afternoon to discuss the changes I've made to the department. If I am able to meet with you today, I will join your room around lunch over Team Viewer. My apologies for the inconvenience. However, there would not be enough members tomorrow to hold the committee.
Email number 3 from Mr. Halderson to Mr. Selznick. Meeting times. Could you read the body of that email?
I will be available 12 to 5 p.m. today in my room. I would like to be kept up to date with any news regarding my case. Thank you, Chandler.
That person, Tom Selznick, we heard about a lot of subpoenas from Alyssa Brandt and Hoover and Chandler, all at gmail.com. Tom Selznick at protonmail.com. Were you able to subpoena Proton Mail?
We did not subpoena Proton Mail.
What goes into that decision, or why not?
After reviewing the emails, Detective Shunk and I had a conversation with Detective Blank in regards to the Proton Mail, and we learned that it's an email server based out of Switzerland. So based upon that information, we opted to not draft a subpoena for the records, and we decided to contact American Family directly to ask if Tom Selznick was an employee there.
Sure. And you made contact with those people?
We did.
And in fact, we're going to hear from them today.
Yes.
Okay. I'll take back this exhibit from you. Showing it's been marked in this case, exhibit number 478. If you could page through that real quick and let me know what that is.
Exhibit 478 appears to be the spiethdaniel@gmail.com emails from the
I'll move that exhibit to evidence and publish it.
Any objection? Other than the
Nothing
stamp?
further.
Very good. It is received.
So when it comes to Mr. Spieth, and I'll just let you keep it in case you just keep start reading. That's exhibit number 478. We're going to look at the entirety of the email, meaning all the emails sent to that account.
That's correct.
And so why are we looking at email 20? What does this show us?
This was the first email sent to this account. So there were 20 emails total. This particular email, reading the subject line, is finished setting up your new Google account, August 5th, 2020.
In your experience, is this the email you get when you set up a new Google account right away?
It is.
Email 19. So the account was set up on August 5th. And then right away, on that same day, 2020, Mr. Spieth at gmail.com emails Bart Halderson at wirr.com and Chandler Halderson at gmail.com. Subject Zoom meeting. The B Halderson at wirr.com. Was that another one from Mr. Bart Halderson's emails?
Yes.
What does this email say on the date of creation?
Hello, my name is Daniel Spieth. I just spoke to Chandler on the phone earlier today, and I will be handling this ticket. Unfortunately, I will not be able to hold the meeting until Tuesday, the 11th at 10:30 a.m. If there are any conflicts, please let me know as soon as possible to reschedule. When the call starts at 10:15, I will send the link. Zoom is a browser application that will need access to your camera and microphone, so be sure to allow them when prompted. Thank you and have a great rest of your day, Daniel Spieth.
Email 18, 5th from Mr. Spieth to Mr. Halderson and Chandler. What are we looking at there?
It appears it's an email sent with no subject or body.
17, which is again August 5th from Bart Halderson, to Daniel Speed. Regarding the Zoom meeting, what is agreed upon?
Daniel, that time will work. Please send Zoom details to my work email, bhalderson@bdo.com. Thank you, Bart.
Email 60, on the 10th of August, 2020, from Mr. Speed to Mr. Bart Halderson. Subject is schedule alteration. What does Mr. Speed have to say here?
First of all, I apologize. Recently, I have had a close family member become infected with coronavirus. I will appoint a coworker to the ticket of Chandler Halderson as soon as possible. I will be in the office. Log on Wednesday at 4 p.m. Chandler, call me at 9 a.m. tomorrow for further details. I apologize for any inconvenience. Daniel Spieth.
Number 15, on the 26th of August, 2020. What is this email?
This is an email from Google in regards to a security alert that a new device has signed into the account of speakdaniel@gmail.com. The exhibit's up there.
Number 14, same type of thing.
Yes, again, this is an email from Google, the subject being Daniel finished setting up your Apple iPhone with the latest Google apps. In regards to setting up, it appears to be a new phone associated to the account.
And these are just emails in your experience. Do these emails just come through on email accounts when random things happen? You're using a new device or something along those lines?
Yes, that's correct.
Nothing weird about this.
No.
Talk about email 13. Are you aware of what this is? 26th of August, 2020.
Yeah, this just appears to be an email sent to Bart Halderson from Daniel Spieth, no subject line and no body within that email.
Email 12, 26th of August, 2020, from Mr. Spieth to Mr. Halderson, subject meeting, what are the bodies there?
Good morning. Chandler was recently informed his counselor was not going to be able to make it to her meetings for the day, so he gave me a call. I will be remotely conducting his meeting today. He also sent me a list of topics to have ready. I have full access to the servers, so I have the information. He gave me your contact information. Does 9:30 or 10 work for you to answer a call? Speak to you soon, Daniel Spieth.
Email 11, the 26th again, Mr. Spieth, Mr. Halderson, what does that mean?
I have approved his renewable energy certificate. Is the address on file 4595 Oak Springs Circle, DeForest, Wisconsin, correct?
Email 10, 26, Mr. Halderson, Mr. Spieth, what does that email say?
I can make either work. I just need to be done by 11:15.
So he took all this time to make these email addresses up. And then he turns around and does this emailing back and forth with himself, probably because his dad was on his case about getting, I want to say, it wasn't grades. I want to say there was some kind of, there was something about the course that he took that he was waiting on getting something back from it. Or I apologize, the made up course. I mean, it really was a course, but he didn't take it. The made up course. So apparently these emails back and forth show him just basically faking this stuff out and then showing his dad, well, I'm trying to get all the information from him.
8, Halderson, Spieth, now we're on the 26th, still on the 26th, what does that email say?
I believe Chandler is in a meeting with a potential employer until 10. Did he say it was okay to have the call without him?
Email 7, Mr. Halderson, Mr. Spieth, the 9th, September 2020, the subject is status update. What did Bart Halderson say to Mr. Spieth at this time?
Daniel, can you please give me an update on Chandler's account? I need to know the following items. Has his account been set up so that he can request transcripts? Has the national database been updated so that student aid can see that he is registered as an FT, meaning full-time student? When will we receive his certificate for completing the solar energy program? Thank you.
Yes, JPC, he did just quit.
It's over now, Mr. Halderson and Mr. Spieth. What are we looking at there?
The subject is progress update. Daniel, will you please provide me a summary of where you are resolving the open items for Chandler? New account is active. Registered in the IT degree program. Able to sign up for spring semester classes. Transcripts can be generated and picked up. Solar certificate has been signed and will be sent. National database has been updated for financial aid. Thank you, Bart Halderson.
Halderson, speak, grabbing college transcripts. November 2nd, 2020. Tell us what Chandler told us.
Good morning, Mr. Spieth. Could you please send my transcripts to my home address? There is a program with my insurance to help save me money with a good GPA. If you or someone you trust could do that as soon as possible, it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you, Chandler Halderson.
Email 4, November 18th, 2020. What is this the same email that you see from YouTube with your Gmail account?
Yep, it appears to just be an email from YouTube in regards to changes for terms of service.
Email 3 from Mr. Speed to Chandler Halderson. I think it's cut off there. What is this one read?
The subject is federal and insurance. The body reads, Dear Chandler, I believe I have finally gotten through to your federal loans and am getting squared away with them. I am also drafting your letter for insurance. Would a PDF copy work for you?
And you have the book in front of you, just because it's cut off.
Sure. Email 3 is to Chandler Halderson at Gmail from Daniel Spieth.
Why was his dad wanting to get this information? Had something to do with his loans or getting insurance on him? Maybe they had to prove that he was still living at home and going to school so that they could get insurance on him. I bet that's what it was. Because at a certain age, you can no longer have them as a dependent or something like that.
Gmail.com.
Number 2, now we're December 9th, 2020, just another Google email at that time.
Yes, that's correct.
And 1, we're looking at the same thing.
Yes.
Now, when it comes to Mr. Daniel Speed, so speeddaniel@gmail.com, we've already looked at exhibit number 565. Was the phone number, the backup recovery phone number used to create this Daniel Speed email, was that Chandler Halderson's cell phone?
Yes, it was.
And was the birthday that was used when he created that Daniel Speed Google account, is that Chandler Halderson's birthday?
Yes, it is.
And in reviewing the account of Mr. Speed, who's purported to be an advisor of some sort of MATC, did he ever advise any students other than Chandler Halderson?
No, he did not.
So we'll take just maybe 1 minute. Council's looking at the next exhibit. So everyone can take
Oh,
a
I
minute.
can stop.
Very good. Pardon?
Oh, I can stop if we're,
Oh, no, good. Finish up.
oh, you need it? I've had enough time to see it.
Showing you now what's been marked in this case, exhibit number 477. What is this document here?
Exhibit 477 is the Alyssa Brandt 64@gmail.com email return for this account from Google.
And in the course of working on this case, as the case detective, did you review the Alyssa Brandt 64 email?
Yes, I did.
And we're going to look at those. Are we not?
Yes.
All right, I'll move to publish it.
You may. I think it has to be moved to receive.
I'll move it. And yes.
It is received.
Well,
Any specific objections at this time?
nothing in addition to my prior objection.
It is received.
So what are we looking at in email 47?
Email 47 is an email from Google in regards to finish setting up your Google account, sent when the account was created.
So we're looking at August 18th, 2000.
Correct.
So is there some overlap with all of these emails, the speed, the Hoover, the grant? There's going to be some overlap in time. Is there not?
Yes, there is.
Let's talk about email 46 from Chandler Halderson. The day of this account was created on the 18th. Chandler Halderson is something named Alyssa Brandt 64@gmail.com. The subject is schedule times. Could you tell us what the body says?
Good morning, Alyssa. We spoke on the phone yesterday, and I was wondering if you had sent the email to bhalderson@bdo.com. If you could, at your earliest convenience, that would be great. Thank you, Chandler.
Email 45 on the 18th. Ms. Brandt to Mr. Halderson regarding schedule times. Could you read the body of that?
I apologize for the late reply. I am currently waiting on 2 advisors to send in their open times. And I'm glad you sent an email because I had the address of bhalderson@bmo.com. I will have the times before the end of the workday.
44 on the 19th, August 2020, Mr. Halderson, Bart Halderson, to Alyssa Brandt 64. Labeled Chandler Halderson as the subject. Could you read the body of that?
Alyssa, I wanted to reach out since I have not received an email from you with tentative dates and times to discuss Chandler's account and student status. As you might be aware, this is causing issues with financial aid and insurance, but also giving me other concerns. Thank you for your prompt attention to this matter, as we have been trying to resolve this for countless months.
Email 43, the 19th of August 2020, Brandt to Mr. Halderson. Regarding Chandler Halderson, could you read the body of that?
Good afternoon. Currently, we have a shortage of advisors, so the earliest I could make time for Chandler is on Wednesday, the 26th at 10:30 a.m. However, 2 advisors still have not returned my email, but I will let you know as soon as they get back to me. I was waiting to hear from them this morning because Chandler made a point to have it held yet this week. I have already sent a second follow-up email to the 2 advisors and to the financial aid manager. I apologize for the delay, Alyssa.
Number 42, the 19th of August 2020, Mr. Halderson to Alyssa Brandt regarding Chandler Halderson. Could you read the body of that?
Thank you for the update. I blocked the time on the 26th, but would also like to resolve sooner. My wife and I are off on Friday and could meet in person if it would help to resolve this.
Email 41, now on the 25th of August 2020, from Bart Halderson to Alyssa Brandt. Could you read that email?
Alyssa, I have not received any updates for the call meeting tomorrow. I assume this is a call or virtual meeting, but have not received the dial-in information. If this is an in-person meeting, I need to know where we are meeting. Can you confirm that this is still on the calendar and who we will be talking with? Thank you.
Email 40, 26th of August 2020, just a Google email again.
That's correct.
39, same thing.
Yes.
38, a YouTube email, correct?
That's correct.
YouTube is owned by Google, and that's why there's some interaction in the programs.
Yes.
37, we're looking at another data email from Google. 36, are we looking at the same thing?
That's correct.
35, same thing. 34. So when we get to 34, we're talking now we've moved forward quite a bit. May 24th of this past year, 2021. The subject is reschedule. It's from Chandler to Alyssa Brandt 64. Could you read the body of that email?
Good morning. My name is Chandler Halderson. Unfortunately, I haven't taken well to the vaccine and am not feeling well enough to make it to my appointment with Aaron Hoover at 10 a.m. today. Is there another time within the week I could reschedule to? Thank you, Chandler.
A couple questions about this email as we go through. This is the first mention that you saw of someone named Aaron Hoover,
Yes, it was.
and that's another email account we're going to talk about.
Yes.
Let's go to message 33. This is on May 25th, 2021 from Melissa.
So he was so anxious, supposedly, to get this information. And then he had to make up a law that he had to cancel on him. Are y'all keeping up with us? Hey, Louise. Okay, Gimmy's like, yeah, what's the point of all this deception? I just don't get it. Okay, basically, in a nutshell, he made up all these email addresses that came from the school and from SpaceX and from his current employer about the payroll that he was supposed to be getting. Because remember, he was supposed to have a job at the insurance company, but he really didn't. And he had never gotten a check. And his dad was like, well, why haven't you gotten a check? And then he's like, I don't know. They said there's something wrong with the payroll department. So this is just basically them showing all these emails in court of how, yes, these were the emails that were sent back and forth. And his dad was involved on some of them. But when you go back to the accounts that they were communicating with, these were all fake accounts set up by Chandler.
Brandt to Chandler Halderson regarding rescheduling, or reschedule, excuse me. Could you read the body of that email?
Good morning, Chandler. I'm sorry to hear you are not feeling well. I didn't have the best experience with it either. I moved you to Monday at 10 a.m. with Aaron. Starting next week, any guest in the building without their student ID is required to have their vaccine card and driver's license. I hope you feel better soon, Alyssa.
Email 32, the 25th again of May, Ms. Brandt to Mr. Halderson regarding that reschedule. What does that say?
There's an opening on Friday at 2 p.m. with Aaron. Would you like that slot?
Email 31, 25th of May, Mr. Halderson to Ms. Brandt, same subject line. What does that say?
Unfortunately, I can't take any time off this week because of the 2 days I'm missing from work already. So Monday still will be best. Thanks.
Number 30, same day, Mr. Halderson to Ms. Brandt, same subject line. What does that say?
Is there a possibility of getting my meeting back, or could I get the Friday?
29, same day, Mr. Halderson to Ms. Brandt. What do we have there?
Anything would work this week, if not today.
Email 28, again on the 25th, Mr. Halderson to Alyssa Brandt, same subject line. What does that say?
I'm sorry to be pushy. I forgot that it was a holiday weekend and will push through to go to my meeting.
Email 27. Now we have an email from Alyssa Brandt responding to Chandler Halderson in that same subject line. What does that email read?
Unfortunately, I've already bumped the waiting list into place. I'll put you in the #1 slot to see if you can get in today. Otherwise, the next appointment is on Friday at 2 p.m.
And you'll notice, guys, so this was May of 2021 when this was sent. So his dad was like basically on his heels at this point, which is why in early July he had to do what he did. He thought, at least anyway.
Number 26, again on the 25th, Mr. Halderson to Alyssa Brandt, same subject line. Could you read that?
I appreciate it. I will be available at any time you give me. Even a video call today would work. My dad only has a few hours off today.
Email 25, on the 25th of May, Alyssa Brandt emailing Chandler Halderson, back in the same subject line. What does that email read?
I will give you a call as soon as I find an opening. Until then, you have Friday at 2 p.m. I hope it can work for you.
Number 24, on the 28th of May, Ms. Brandt emails Chandler Halderson, subject line schedule changes. What does that say?
Dear students, keep watch for scheduling changes. We are short-staffed today, and there likely will be day and time shifts for your meeting. Keep an eye out for an email or call from either me or your advisor. Have a great weekend, Alyssa Brandt.
Just briefly, maybe this is a good email to point it out. In the email itself, Brandt is spelled B-R-A-N-T. Is that correct?
That's correct.
What is the registered name? How is that spelled?
Alyssa is spelled the same, Alyssa, and the last name is Bran. N is in Nancy, D is in David, T is in Tom. So Brandt.
And in the actual email body, when she uses the last name, it's without the D, but just with the T.
That's correct.
Email 23, 28th of May, Chandler Halderson emails Alyssa Brandt regarding the schedule changes. What does he say?
Good morning. Is there a problem with my meeting? I have waited a long time for a meeting and my employers need my transcripts ASAP. Thank you, Chandler.
Email 22, again on the 28th, Alyssa Brandt emails Chandler Halderson back regarding that same subject matter. What does she say?
Your advisor will contact you directly. The advisement director is handling the situation as we speak. If there are changes, you will be made aware shortly.
21, on the 28th again, Mr. Halderson back to Ms. Brandt, same subject line. He responds, what?
Okay, thank you.
Email 20, again on the 28th, Mr. Halderson to Ms. Brandt, same subject line. Could you read the body of that email?
My meeting was altered. Is there a person I can call? I need answers to my questions ASAP.
Email 19, again on the 28th, from Alyssa Brandt to Chandler Halderson, same subject line of schedule changes. Could you read the body of that email, please?
I will find someone free to call you. Thank you for your patience.
Email 18, still on the 28th, from Alyssa Brandt to Chandler Halderson regarding the schedule changes. What does Ms. Brandt say to Mr. Halderson?
Your phone number is 920-838-4549, correct?
And then just a question, that is in fact Mr. Halderson's cell phone number.
Yes, it is.
Number 17, still on the 28th, Mr. Halderson emails Alyssa Brandt regarding that exact question. And what does he say?
Yes, that is correct.
Email 16, 28th still, Alyssa Brandt emails Chandler Halderson, same subject line. Read that email.
Great. I'm still doing my best to find someone free to give you a call, but I'm positive I'll find someone. Thank you for your patience.
Email 15, Mr. Halderson emails Alyssa Brandt, same day, same subject line. Could you read that one?
Could I please have your phone number so you could help shed light on this situation?
There was no response to that email with a phone number or anything because the next email is on the 1st, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Email 14, June 1st, 2021, from Chandler Halderson to Alyssa Brandt regarding those schedule changes. What does that email read?
Good afternoon. I'm checking to see if there's been any progress on the documents I requested. Is there any news? Thank you, Chandler.
13, so cut off a bit here, but this one is June 1st, 2021, from Alyssa Brandt to Chandler Halderson, same subject line. Could you read that response?
Sorry for the late response. I'm running around grabbing everything on my spare time. It's been a hectic day due to recent events. Thanks for your patience, Alyssa.
June 1st, 2021, Alyssa Brandt to Chandler Halderson, same subject line. What does she say here?
I won't be able to access your transcripts or get this certification degree without the key to the records room. I'll let you know when it arrives.
Email 11, June 4th, Mr. Halderson to Ms. Brandt, same subject line. What do we have here?
Could you add me to any open time for next week?
And you added the word open, just for the record, it's spelled wrong, correctly?
I did. In the email, it's spelled O-O-E-N.
Thank you. Email 10, June 4th, 2021, Alyssa Brandt responds to Chandler Halderson in the schedule change email string and says what?
Yeah, no problem. How does Thursday at 11:30 sound?
Email 9, June 4th, Chandler Halderson to Alyssa Brandt. He responds perfect.
Correct.
Okay. Email 8, we're into a new subject line. So the subject is just scheduling from Chandler Halderson. Would you mind just opening the document to confirm who email 8 was sent to? I know it was cut off here.
So email 8 is sent to alyssa.brant64@gmail.com from Chandler. Subject is scheduling. The body is, good morning, my advisor Aaron took today and tomorrow off. Who will I be sent to and at what time?
And we're gonna have the same question for a couple of these. We just tried to fit them in the screen as best we could. Number 7, that's the June 10th, 2021 email. We're responding to scheduling. Who are the parties in that email?
This email is to Chandler Halderson from Alyssa Brandt.
And could you read the body of that?
Good morning, Chandler. You are not on the list to be picked up today. When was your meeting scheduled for?
Same questions for number 6. Who are the parties of that email sent on June 10th?
This email is to Alyssa Brandt from Chandler Halderson.
Okay, and read the body if you could.
It was for today at 11:30 with Aaron Hoover.
Number 5, same questions. Who are the parties in this June 10th email? It was obviously from Alyssa Brandt. Who is it to?
Chandler Halderson.
And regarding scheduling, what did that read?
Oh, no, I didn't give you a date. You are still all set for your meeting on June 17th, next Thursday. I advise you to keep this meeting because the wait list is well past 50 students.
Question for number 4, June 10th. Who are the parties of that email?
This email is to Alyssa Brandt from Chandler Halderson.
Okay, and read the body if you could.
Is there still the possibility of me picking up the documents I requested, or has Aaron sent my transcripts already?
Number 3, email from Bart Halderson to Alyssa Brandt 64, responding, or it was a forward to schedule changes. The forward that appears in the subject matter indicates that at some point that email was forwarded.
That's correct.
Okay, and what does the email body read?
Alyssa, this is unacceptable. We have been dealing with this issue for well over a year now. It has been costing us money the longer the delays have continued. I'm not sure of the professionalism of the advisors, but it sure seems like they will take off at the drop of a hat and it messes up the whole schedule. Chandler and I have both rearranged our schedules to meet with an advisor today, and I expect you to find a way to make that happen.
Email 2 from
Chandler saw that and was like, oh, crap.
Chandler Halderson to Alyssa Brandt, subject late. That read?
I'm currently heading to the hospital. I will not make my meeting. I remember there is a wait list, but I still will need my meeting rescheduled as soon as possible.
And number 1, June 21st, 2021, from Chandler Halderson to Alyssa Brandt. What does this say?
The subject is contact information. The body is there a phone number I could call for getting a new appointment?
And that was the last email in that grouping?
That's correct.
A couple of the same questions. When it comes to Alyssa Brandt, did it appear to you in reviewing those emails that she was purporting to be a student advisor at Madison College or MATC?
It did.
And did she ever advise any students other than Chandler Halderson?
No, she did not.
Showing you exhibit number 565 again. When it comes to Alyssa Brandt, who's second in the column there, is the IP address that account was created at, alyssabrandt64@gmail.com? Is that the Halderson home's IP address?
Yes, it is.
And the birth date used when that account was created, is that Chandler Halderson's birthday?
Yes, it is.
Eric's on a roll over there.
So there was a mention in these emails of someone named Aaron Hoover. You looked into that email account as well?
Yes, we did.
Showing you what's been marked in this case, exhibit number 476. Could you just page through that and make sure you could answer the question of what are you looking at there? What is that document?
Wait, did he fall down the stairs before or after this? I don't remember.
Uh, 476 is the Aaron.Hoover matc@gmail.com Google search warrant return, specifically the emails.
I'll move 476 into evidence.
Subject to any
Subject to any
objection,
prior rulings, no further objection.
it is received.
And I
And
asked
it
the
may be
published.
published.
Thank you, Judge. Let's start with email 17. I think we're all used to this now, but what is email 17?
Email 17 is from Google in regards to finish setting up your new Google account.
Sure. And this one was on what date was this Google account set up?
May 28th, 2021.
Let's talk about email 16 from Aaron Hoover, matc@gmail.com to Chandler Halderson. Subject is new schedule. Schedule is spelled wrong, but it's new schedule. Could you read the body of that email for us?
Yeah, he misspells a lot, doesn't he?
Good morning. My name is Aaron Hoover from Madison College's advisement team. Today we are missing 3 advisors. Following the first come, first served policy, I will be taking some meetings from an absent coworker. My meetings will stay on course until 12:30, and then I will be taking over Ryan's meeting starting at 1. If you were meeting with Ryan today at 10 a.m., you are now at 1 p.m. with me. If you were with me after 12:30 today, you will be with me on Tuesday morning. So my 1 p.m. meeting from today will be moved to 10 a.m. Tuesday morning. If there are questions or scheduling issues, contact me or Alyssa Brandt. My apologies for the inconvenience. Aaron Hoover.
15, May 28th, 2021. If you could in the binder, again, we're trying to format these to fit the screen. That was from Chandler Halderson. Who's that email to?
15 is from Chandler Halderson to Aaron Hoover.
Okay. And same subject line. What does that read?
Unfortunately, I need my meeting to happen today. My employer and insurance need my transcripts and to see proof of my completion of my degree and solar certificate. I have been trying to get a meeting for a very long time, and I very well could lose my job over this. Is there a time you could put me in?
14. Who was that email from and to?
Email 14 is to Chandler Halderson from Aaron Hoover.
And same subject line. Could you read the body of that email for me?
Right, Patty?
I'm sorry to hear that, but we must follow policy on these difficult days. I will contact your employers for you if that will help out in any way.
Email 13, again, if you could tell us the parties of this email.
Email 13 is to Aaron Hoover from Chandler Halderson.
Same subject line. Would you mind reading the body of the email?
Alyssa put me on the waiting list on the number 1 slot earlier this week. Does that apply to today if there are any cancellations during the changed scheduling?
Email 12, again, who are the parties of this email?
This email is to Chandler Halderson from Aaron Hoover.
And subject line is the same. Could you read the body for me?
Yes, that will apply. If there is a cancellation of the updated schedule, you will receive an automated call to your cell 920-838-4549 of the time, building, and advisor you will be meeting with. There is no guarantee I will be hosting your meeting unless it is on Tuesday at 11 a.m.
Email 11, May 28th, 2021. Who are the parties to that email?
Email 11 is to Aaron Hoover from Chandler Halderson.
Same subject line. What does the body read?
I can't tell you how many times I've heard this and never gotten in a meeting. Is there a phone number I can call for a more detailed explanation?
All the time it took for him to do all this, you guys. And having this email conversation back and forth with himself.
Same day, Mr. Halderson, and that one is to Mr. Hoover.
That's correct.
Okay. Same subject line. If you could read the body for the record.
I need to have a call with whomever is in charge in the next 30 minutes. I've been a student for over 3 years and I will be treated fairly.
Number 9, again on the 28th, who are the parties to that email?
Email 9 is to Chandler Halderson from Aaron Hoover.
And if you could, read the body of that email.
I understand. I have forwarded your information to her now with a priority mark. She will be conducting meetings herself today, so her availability is limited.
Email 8 from Mr. Halderson to Mr. Hoover. Now we have a different subject line. This one's status. Could you read the body of that email?
Good morning. I canceled because of work conflict and emailed you a list of questions and documents I need. When do you think I will be able to pick them up? Also, when I do get them, I have a few extra questions. Thank you, Chandler.
Email 7, June 1st, 2021, from Mr. Hoover to Mr. Halderson. The subject line is now in response to. What does the body say?
Good morning, Chandler. I'm sorry you can't make the meeting. I will gather the documents and let you know when I can get your certificate card and degree. In the meantime, I'll electronically send your transcripts and degrees out to the respective employer insurance agency. I will have Alyssa give you a call when everything is complete. Good luck on your meeting, Aaron Hoover.
That's what I was thinking, Louise.
This is on June 1st. Who are the parties to this email?
Email 6 is to Chandler Halderson from Aaron Hoover.
And regarding that same subject matter, could you read the body?
Unfortunately, I don't have your insurance on file. Is there someone specific I can send them to?
Number 5, who are the parties to this email?
Email 5 is to Aaron Hoover from Chandler Halderson.
Same subject matter. Would you mind reading the body for the record?
Okay, thank you. You can send the official link to bhalderson@bdo.com so he can forward it to the right people.
I wonder if he got mad at himself for
Email
not taking
4,
the meeting.
from Mr. Hoover to Chandler Halderson, correct?
That's correct.
All right. Now, different subject matter. Now it's absence. What does Mr. Hoover have to say on June 10th?
Dear students, I am taking the rest of the week off due to a family emergency. If possible, my meetings will be reassigned by availability and relevance. If you have any questions, please give our secretary, Alyssa, a call or email. My apologies, Aaron.
Email 3, the 10th. Could you please tell us the parties to this email?
Email 3 is to Aaron Hoover from Chandler Halderson.
Same subject matter. Now, in response to that subject matter, please read the body.
Have I been picked up by a different advisor and at what time?
Email 2 from Mr. Hoover, matc@gmail.com to Chandler Halderson. New subject line here, meeting time and date. Would you mind reading the body for the court record?
Good afternoon, Chandler. I'm sorry to hear about your recent trip to the ER. I have scheduled you 2 appointments, so if there's a conflict with the first, there's always a second. July 20th at 2:45 p.m. and July 23rd at 10:30 a.m. If neither of these work, let me know as soon as possible. In the meantime, you are holding slot number 22 on the wait list.
And number 1. Number 1 is just a Google email that we've looked at before.
Yes, it is.
So the last email in any of these accounts is the 29th of June, 2021.
That's correct.
A couple of the same questions as before. As it comes to Mr. aaron.hoover, matc@gmail.com, he was purporting to be an advisor at Madison College.
Yes, he was.
Did he ever advise any students other than Chandler Halderson?
No, he did not.
And looking at Exhibit 565, the IP address used to create that Gmail account, is that the IP address of the home? Same the sub TC@gmail.com to Chandler.
Hang on.
How are your employees?
Sorry.
And number 1.
Did they ask you to? Did they
God, I hate
ask you
trying
to
to-
research whether or not Chandler?
Sorry, guys.
And number 1. Number 1 is just a Google email that we've looked at before.
Yes, it is.
So the last email in any of these accounts is the 29th of June, 2021.
That's correct.
A couple of the same questions as before. As it comes to Mr. aaron.hoover, matc@gmail.com, he was purporting to be an advisor at Madison College.
Yes, he was.
Did he ever advise any students other than Chandler Halderson?
No, he did not.
And looking at exhibit 565, the IP address used to create that Gmail account, is that the IP address of the Halderson household?
Yes, it is.
I know she's horrible at her job.
No further questions.
His made-up person is horrible at her job.
No, thank you.
No,
you,
thank
Detective.
you.
Lori Snap, LORISNAPP.
How are you employed, Ms. Snap?
I work for American Family Insurance,
And what is your title?
Employee Relations Manager.
And sometime this summer or into the fall, were you contacted by Dane County Sheriff's Office in connection to this case?
Yes, I was.
And in particular, did they ask you to research whether or not Chandler Halderson was ever employed by American Family?
Yes, they did.
And what did you find out?
I found no record of that person working for American Family.
What about as one of their contractors? Did you research that?
I did as well, and we found no record of that person working as a contractor.
Boom.
Did they also have you research whether or not Tom Selznick was ever an employee of American Family?
Yes, they did.
And was he ever an employee or a contract employee?
No.
Boom. Wow.
Do any of your employees, as their official email, have a Proton Mail account?
No.
What is like the tag or the ending of the emails from American Family Insurance?
At amfam.com.
And how are your employees paid? Weekly, monthly, every 6 months, something else?
Bi-weekly.
No further questions.
Cross-examination?
No, thank you.
Thank you. May this witness
No,
be
thank
excused
you.
and released.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. You're
Good morning, Detective. I know you've testified a couple times. Some things make more sense, obviously, at certain times. Yesterday, were you here when the footwear analyst testified as to shoe prints found on the two tarps, the one that was found in the garbage can near the torso and the one that was found in the barn? Were you here for that testimony?
Yes.
And I think you, like the rest of us, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe heard the testimony that a shoe print consistent with shoes found in the Halderson home was found on the tarp that was found in the garbage can, item C.
Correct.
Those shoes that were entered into evidence and that the shoe print analyst said matched the prints found on that tarp. Do you recall what size they were?
Size 10.5.
And if we all think back to maybe 2 weeks ago now when we watched that long interview of you interviewing Mr. Halderson, you were involved with Mr. Halderson personally in his arrest and booking into jail, correct?
Yes.
What size shoes was he wearing when he was booked into jail?
He was also wearing a 10.5.
Okay. Now the other tarp, the barn tarp, as we've been calling it, that was in that big brown bag. We're not going to drag it out for right now. But you've seen photographs of that tarp laid out and spread out during the analysis in this case?
Yes.
And I think I've asked others, but I'll ask you, does that tarp appear to be older or newer than the tarp that's found in the garbage can?
It definitely appeared older.
And what makes you say that? Like, how would you describe it?
It was well used. I had, from what I had seen, appeared to be sawdust all over it, just dust in general.
Sure. And yesterday we heard the shoe print analyst testify as to a pair of I think, Ralph Lauren shoes that they thought there was a print on.
Yes.
In the search of the Halderson home, were any similar shoes found that would match that?
There was not.
And if they were, would you have sent them out to the crime lab?
Of course.
In the course of this investigation, have you ever found those shoes?
No.
Do you have any idea whose shoes they are?
No.
Okay. Do you have any idea how old that tarp is?
I do not. I know there was pictures that we had found on Krista Halderson's phone that included Bart working and building a table on it. So I know that it was not new.
Okay. And unlike the tarp in the garbage can, did that appear to be new?
It did.
And is it your suspicion that that is in fact the tarp that we saw Mr. Halderson purchase on July 2nd?
Yes.
Okay. Showing what's been marked in this case is exhibits number 576 and 577. Briefly, could you identify those?
Yes, these were photos taken off of Krista Halderson's phone of Bart working on a tarp in the garage at the Oak Springs address.
Doing some sort of building project?
Yes.
All right. I'll move 576 and 577 into evidence.
No, no objection.
They are received.
That's the
She's
public,
so
just
used to
briefly,
saying,
I mean.
she's so used
Although-
to saying no, thank you. She said it wrong.
Looking at 576, is this the tarp that we're talking about?
Yes, it is.
And 577, another tarp, or another photo of that tarp?
Correct.
Okay. And to you, does that appear to be the barn tarp?
It does appear to be the barn tarp.
And Mr. Halderson's not wearing those Ralph Lauren shoes here? Correct?
No, it appears he was wearing A6.
Did it become important in this investigation to look into whether Mr. Chandler Halderson was going to Madison College or MATC for school?
Yes.
He was purporting to have he was going there, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Did you, in fact, at some point, did the Dane County Sheriff's Department subpoena records from Madison College to try to determine when he was going there or if he was going there?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Showing what's been marked as exhibit number 503. Just in general, what is that?
Looks like a certificate of authenticity from Madison College or MATC.
And is that notarized? The last page?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And I know we all heard the judge read the stipulation, but I'll move 503 in evidence.
No.
It is received.
504 and 505, what are we looking at there?
504 is going to be the Madison College unofficial transcripts of Chandler Halderson. 505 is also from Madison Area Technical College or Madison College. It's an enrollment verification for Chandler Halderson.
And this is an enrollment verification that was requested by the police this fall in preparation for this trial.
Correct. August 9th of 2021.
Okay, I'll move 504 and 505 into evidence.
They are received.
Move to publish.
They may be published.
Hey, Casey.
Starting with the transcripts, we'll zoom in just a bit. So we're looking at exhibit number 504. But spring of 2018 shows Mr. Halderson was in fact enrolled at MATC, correct?
It's on there, yes.
All right. I took a couple classes, leadership as an art, trigonometry, university physics, and some sort of solar technology class, and actually completed some classes in the spring of 18. Fair?
Yes.
All right.
So we did
Summer
complete a
of
few.
2018. He enrolled for a few classes, general chemistry, basic statistics, and another solar class, and completed some classes there, summer of 18.
Yes, completed some, and it looks like withdrew from another.
Withdrew from the statistics class.
Correct.
Okay. Moving to the fall of 2018. There, Mr. Halderson, intro to sustainable design, again, taking basic statistics, intro to renewable energy, and he completed the design class, got an A, failed the statistics class, and into the renewable energy class. Looks like he withdrew. Is that fair?
Yes.
And he failed
Going into
spelling.
2019, spring of 2019, took a couple classes, environmental science, project management, weather and climate, and electronics class. And looks like there was a C in the project management class, but the rest he withdrew from.
Correct.
We see some additional classes now in the fall of 2019. This is on the second page. It looks like Microsoft Word, a couple levels of that, written communication, exploration of something in technology, Cisco networking, IT security awareness, enterprise client, psychology of human relations. In all of these classes, he withdrew from half or a little less than half and failed the remainder, correct?
Correct. The WNA, it's withdrew with no attempt, meaning that the class was withdrawn sometime, I think it's the first 10 days of the course.
And then going into fall of 2020, see some Microsoft Word classes, networking classes, psychology, mostly withdrawn with a couple Fs there, correct?
Correct.
And that fall of 2020 didn't complete any credits, but that was the last time that he was enrolled at MATC.
Yes.
So after the fall of the fall of 2020, he was not a student there any longer from what you're able to glean from all these documents?
Correct. I believe the end of that semester was January 18th or so of 21.
Sure. And if we look back in 19 and 20, he doesn't earn any credits, either withdraws or fails from all of those classes.
Correct.
Right. And so we'd have to go back to the spring of 19 when he got a C in something called project to find the last class where any credits were earned.
That's what I'm seeing.
Okay. And then just to maybe a more easy way to view it, they sent you something called an enrollment verification. We'll zoom out just a tad so everyone can see that. But that shows that he was enrolled 3/4 in the spring of 18, half-time in the summer, half-time in the fall of 18, going into 19 in the spring, less than half, the fall, 3/4, and the fall, half-time.
Correct.
Did you ever find any information in this case to indicate that Mr. Halderson was attending classes or going to classes at MATC going into the spring of 2021 or into the summer of 2021?
They did not have any records of that.
Okay. Now, I'm going to talk about a couple of documents that are already in evidence. This morning, Detective Blank testified about this small burner phone. And let me pull it out. It's not something we have to wear gloves for, but this was the burner phone I think Mr. Selzner testified was found in Chandler Halderson's desk.
Correct. The Alcatel flip phone.
Okay. And he produced a report when he tried to download what he could download there, indicating a cell phone number for that phone.
Correct.
And what was that cell phone number?
608-598-7868.
Okay. And earlier in the trial, a couple weeks ago, we passed around this document to the jury. Was, I believe, testified in this case to be a paper found on the desk of Bart Halderson with written notes on it, giving a phone number for someone Bart Halderson spoke to at MATC. Who was the person he believes he spoke to?
Correct. This is an email that Bart Halderson had saying that he had spoken with Daniel Spieth at the bottom of, and part of the body of that, he does say that Daniel sounds just like Chaz, who we know is what the family called Chandler, on the phone. The bottom of this email says Daniel's contact information is cell 608-598-7868, which is the same phone number I just read, which is registered to the flip phone.
So the burner phone found in the desk is the same as the email that the jury looked at with that phone number.
Correct.
Okay. There's a name written on this document encircled. Can you tell us what that name is?
Omar Job.
Okay. And that became a point of interest for the police in this investigation?
It did.
I don't think we need here. We'll be okay. The cell phones that you were able to access in this case, they were downloaded by Mr. Blank and other analysts, and then the detectives review those downloads, correct?
Correct.
For the most part. Many people at sometimes can look at them, but you do look at some of these downloads.
Yes.
Okay. Was Bart Halderson's cell phone one of these cell phones that was able to be accessed in this case?
Yes, we did access that phone.
And I'm showing what's been marked as exhibit number 497. Just in general, do you know what this to be?
A USB.
Containing the download of Bart's phone?
Correct.
Okay. As we talked about, those downloads aren't something that you can really look at very easily. So reports are printed off some of the data that's in those phones.
Correct.
And was a report printed off with Bart Halderson's messages and call logs and things of that sort that were relevant to this case?
Yes.
Okay. Showing what's been marked in this case is exhibit number 498. Could you tell me what that is?
Yes, the title page says that it's the contents are Bart Halderson Celebrate Instant Message Report.
Okay. And that's a report of essentially some of the activity on the phone, including some of the outgoing calls and text messages and things of that sort?
Correct.
All right. Specifically, I want to draw your attention to page 16 of this report from Bart Halderson's cell phone. Does it indicate on June 29th, 2021, about 2 p.m, did he make a phone call?
Yes, it shows 2:04 p.m. that Bart had made a phone call to 608-246-6210, and the phone call lasted 19 minutes and 46 seconds.
And so you're the detective in this case. Did you call that number and figure out what that number was?
Yes, that phone number is Madison College.
I'll move 498 evidence at this point, 497 as well.
Any objection? Yes.
They really need to fix that. I noticed that the defense keeps blocking him
I
from
would
the
ask if you
cameras.
believe you can do so safely and responsibly that you testify without a mask, as long as you're comfortable with doing that under these circumstances.
I will do so.
Thank you so much. Please proceed.
Good morning. Could you please state both your first and last name and spell both for the record?
Sure. My name is Kate Jacomsen, Kate, K-A-T-E, and last name Jacomsen, J-O-C-H-I-M-S-E-N.
How are you employed?
I work for Madison College,
And specifically, what is your title?
the Director of Employee Relations.
And during the course of this investigation, were you and other employees at Madison College or MATC contacted by the Dane County Sheriff's Office in connection to this case?
Yes.
And were you asked specifically if 3 individuals ever worked for Madison College or MATC?
Yes.
Was one of those individuals Aaron Hoover?
Yes.
And were you able to look in a database or some historic information to see if Aaron Hoover had ever worked for Madison College or MATC?
I was able to look.
And was Aaron Hoover ever an employee?
No.
Were you able to repeat the same process with Alyssa Brandt?
Yes.
And you did that, in fact, with 2 different spellings, B-R-A-N-T and B-R-A-N-D-T.
That's correct.
And was she ever an employee for MATC or Madison College?
No.
What about Daniel Spieth?
No.
Was he ever an employee for Madison College or MATC?
No.
Can I ask you, what is the end part of every employee's email who works for Madison College?
MadisonCollege.edu.
No one uses a Gmail account as their official Madison College email?
No.
No further questions?
Cross-examination.
No, thank you.
No,
May
thank
this witness
you.
be released and excused.
Yes.
You guys. Oh, yeah. No, we're not done. I still have some more here because now we're going to listen to the phone call that Bart had with someone. They actually have it recorded. So I'm going to transfer over to that now. Let's hang on.
Good morning, sir. Would you mind telling us your name and spelling it out for the jury?
My name is Omar Job, O-M-A-R-J-O-B-E.
And sir, what do you do for a living?
I work as an enrollment coordinator at Madison College.
And tell me a little bit about that job. What do you do in that job?
We are customer service that, like one-stop shop that help different departments. We support different departments like financial aid, enrollment, records, admissions, and triage order calls in different parts of different departments within the college.
When people call, just give us a sample of last time you worked. What kind of calls are you getting?
We got calls about admissions. We walk them through how to get admitted and enrolled in classes. Mostly financial aid, like I said, records, obtaining the transcripts. Those are the kind of calls that we manage daily.
And how long have you been doing this work?
Altogether, 8 years. Started.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Started as a student and transitioned in different positions.
When you, do you get a lot of calls?
Yes.
Do you remember all of them?
No.
Or sometimes they recorded?
Recently, we started recording them I'd say 2 years ago.
Last year, you were contacted by the police at some point regarding one of these calls you had?
Yes.
And did you speak to the police?
Yes.
Did they ask you about a call that you maybe had with someone about Chandler Halderson in June of 2021?
Yes.
In fact, the very end of June 29th, I believe?
I remember the date, but
Okay.
yes.
All right. And was that call recorded?
Yes.
Okay. Have you listened to that call?
Yes.
And I'm going to show you just there's a number on the bottom. It's 496. It's a kind of an oddly designed transcript, but just even reading the first little bit of that, does that appear to be the call that you had with this person regarding someone named Chandler Halderson?
Yes.
All right. I'll take that back from you. I will move 496 into evidence, and I'll represent for the record 495 to be the call and move the call into evidence as well.
Any other objections?
No further objection, thank you.
It is received.
I think I asked you, but we played the call for you and you listened to it at one point?
Yes.
Do you have any independent memory of this call at all?
No.
Do you know Chandler Halderson?
No.
Do you know anyone named Bart Halderson?
No.
When you listened to the call, were you able to tell, though, that it was you on the phone?
Yes.
All right. So if we could have HDMI left, I'll plug my computer in.
All
Folks,
of this,
it's
though,
been
we
a
didn't
little
have
while
to
since
work.
we've had just an audio recording.
So I guess
I'll remind you of the
technically, it doesn't have to
instruction
now.
that what you hear is the evidence. If you don't believe the transcript that's shown on the screen matches what you're hearing, you should go with what you're hearing. The transcript is provided for your convenience. Go ahead.
Sure. All right, we're going to listen to a call. Give me 1 second. Let me make sure we're queued up appropriately and the volume is on.
This should appear on the screen in front of you, sir. Mr. Job, the computer monitor should carry whatever's on the big screen so you don't have to look in that direction.
And the call's about 17 minutes long, so I apologize, Mr. Job. You're going to sit there for a second, but if you need a glass of water, there's one right there, and I'll just begin playing at the beginning.
Roman Services, this is Omar. How may I help you?
Can you make sure the volume's up on your end?
Hi. I'm trying to get an appointment scheduled to meet with somebody to...
Okay, guys, just so you don't know, this is Bart, the father calling.
maybe just get a copy of the transcript and also a printed copy of a certificate that was earned and other degree verification.
Okay.
How do we get that done?
Okay, for the degree, you have to download the duplicate diploma form and send it in with a check or a money order of $4 for the diploma. So we mail that to you. For the transcript, you have to go online and request it.
Yeah, I tried requesting online and we never got them. And I've spent I don't know how many times doing that and at $8 a piece. So I'm not willing to do that again.
Why is not letting you request your transcript?
It's not my system, it's your system, so don't ask me questions like that.
Sure. I'll pause it at 108.
Thank you.
And just so you guys know, once they did this and they changed it over, they kept having issues in the courtroom with the audio. So I tried to trim some of it out and get back to where we started from. So that's kind of what you're going to see here.
May we approach?
Sure.
Oh, yeah. If anybody needs to stand up and stretch, go right ahead.
You can go to the main campus. We open Monday through Friday now. So you can walk there, and then someone can help you, process the payment, call Student Financial to lift the hold, and then you can do or download your own official transcript.
You said after the payment, you said to lift the hold, you said
Yeah,
call who?
it's a process. So once you make the payment, they can lift the hold right in there. You can tell them, you want to request your transcript, so they will lift the hold right away.
So you said I had to call somebody.
No,
or can they do it if I stop in there?
Yeah, when you stop in, they will do it for you.
Okay. Now, if we've earned a certificate, say in that solar program,
You said
where does that get requested through?
if you earned a certificate?
Yeah.
I don't see that you earned a certificate. There were no like.
You always get the Amato trial messed up with this one. 'Cause
You
there's
were
the mark.
oh, okay.
You were taking IT classes, right? I don't see that you were in a program.
But prior to the IT, there was a solar program too.
Yeah, but I don't see that you were Chandler Halderson. And your date of birth is March 15, 98?
98.
Okay.
Now, there was an old account that got changed to this new one, so would it be under the old account that didn't get, or did all that get transferred over?
It's soon if they merge the accounts. What was your? Do you have your old account info? Like your
It used to be Halderson C at Madison College.
Yeah, normally if they merge it, they'll bring everything together. Hold on one second. Okay. So
Stephen?
the name that was on that account, what was the name of that was on that account?
Well, it's the same name, Chandler Halderson, or do you see it's Halderson C at Madison College at edu.
Yeah, that's your username. That's C Halderson at Madison College.edu.
No, that's the new one, and the old one said Halderson and then C at. Can you tell if those two were combined or not?
Halderson C. No, I don't see a request for the account. Normally, when I type your name, it says bring Halderson C. Let me do it in reverse, okay? If it's Halderson C, then your first name would have been and your first name is Chandler, Chandler.
HAL, L is in Larry, HALDER.
No. So when I look you up by name, it has a duplicate account. It bring all the names that are under that account.
Now, if they canceled one, would that show up anymore, or once they cancel it, would it be like expunged, kind of?
It will solve, and then it will say deactivate. If you go to, we have a system that will show that a duplicate account was processed. Because the account I'm looking at, there was no.
How far back does that account go that you're looking at? Like when was the first class taken?
Yeah, he was pretending to be Chandler. So he could get the information from the college.
Spring of 2018. Spring of 2018.
Oh, okay. So that does have all the history then.
Yeah, but I don't see that you were admitted.
I'm having a hard time hearing you.
So I don't see that you were admitted in any program.
You said they were, it's the IT degrees in there, right?
No, those are just classes. Like you took general education classes and then the IT classes. You might have just took the classes but not be in the program. You have the solar. You took a solar class, physics, trigonometry, leadership and art, general chemistry. Yep, you took some solar classes, like I said. Yep, you took solar classes, but you were not in the program.
Mm-hmm. Does the internship from the spring show up in there?
Entrance
There was no internship.
from the spring of what year? I can go back.
Oh, this year, 2021. Or winter. Yeah, you do spring.
No.
Does normally show up in there?
Yes, if the internship is part of the curriculum, yes.
Okay.
Dad's figuring it all out.
Do you have an Alyssa Brandt that works in that area or anywhere in the campus?
What is the last name?
BRAN. I think it's T or DT.
Casey, I had COVID, honey. I've been out sick. I know you were asking earlier, but I didn't have a pause to talk to you about it.
You said the first name is Alyssa?
Alyssa? Yeah, ALYSSA.
No. All the brands. There's no Alyssa with all the last names that I put.
And does that check non-teachers and everything? It would be anybody on campus that works here?
It will be anybody on campus. The directory will have anybody on campus.
Okay. How about, does Daniel Spice still work there? His last name is Spice. Yeah, it's I'm trying to get the proper spelling.
His dad still has hope that he's not lying.
No, SPEITH.
He said SPEITH. No, it's not showing up.
Okay, that should do it then. Okay, thank you for your help.
No. You got it.
No further questions.
Cross-examination.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
I'll remind you that you're still under the oath you swore this morning, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Night, Lisa.
Good afternoon. I know you were on this morning, and then we had Mr. Job, and I'm going to ask you some questions about the same exhibit, which is number 498. Just quickly, if you could refresh the jury, what are we looking at in 498?
This is a Bart Helderson Celebrate report.
Okay. And I think we had talked about looking at some data starting at page 2,538, which you last testified. What were you testifying about? What happened at 2:04 p.m. on the 29th of June, 2021?
At 2:04 p.m. on the 29th of June, phone number 608-246-6210 was called for 19 minutes and 46 seconds. That was the call Bart made to Omar Job.
Okay. And there are a couple pages more of entries. Could you walk through, that is entry 110. If you could just walk through, what is entry 111 on that phone?
111 is just, it's showing the source of that phone call. Once again, showing the 246-6210 number.
And that's just data that was pulled from the phone?
Correct.
All right. When there's only a couple pages left, we'll go to the next one. What happens in what's been analyzed in your system as number 112? It looks like there's a message sent. Who's it sent from and who's it sent to?
Correct. On June 29th, still at 3:27 p.m., Bart Helderson sends a message to Chandler. It's listed as Chaz Halderson in his phone contacts. It's an instant message that says, "I spoke to Omar Job."
Then the next item analyzed in your system is 113. It's a web history. Is this exactly what it sounds like, internet history?
It is.
Okay. And what does that show, and at what time does it show it?
At 5:39 p.m. on that same date, Bart Helderson Googled Madison Area Technical College.
Okay. And 114?
114 is just showing that the search was completed through Safari.
115?
115 is just the mobile Safari cookies that are attached when you Google Madison Area Technical College.
And the same with 116?
Correct.
What about 117?
117, Bart Helderson is Googling contact Madison College. This would be like a contact list that is on their website.
And in 118, do we see the same source code essentially being repeated?
Correct.
And the same with 119 and 120?
119 is different. That's actually the web history showing employee directory for Madison Area Technical College. So Bart Helderson Googled the employee directory at that time.
Thank you. 120?
120, the associated cookies when you type that search in.
All right. And line 121, could you give us the date and time and then what was done there?
Line 121 is June 29th, 5:40 p.m. Once again, Bart is still in the employee directory.
122?
122 is listing employee directories results, and that's at the same time on the same date.
123?
123 is an activity sensor data. This comes from the health app on Apple phones that shows July 1st at 2 p.m.
Okay. And in your experience or knowledge, what is this?
So people that have the health app on their Apple phones, every hour Apple will document, steps traveled, distance traveled, among other items that you can select to be shown in the app.
Line 124, if you could give us the date and time of that and what happened.
Line 124 is an instant message. It's July 1st, 2021 at 2:10 p.m. This is an instant message from Bart Helderson to Chandler Halderson.
What does it read?
Bart wrote to Chandler, "I'm ready whenever you are."
The next line, 125.
125 is just a duplicate of that same.
Okay. And the very last line here, labeled as 126. What is the date and time of that and what happened?
126 is July 1st, 2021 at 3 p.m. It's also an activity sensor data. It's also just the phone health app reporting that there was the last activity at that time.
And that's when it was uploaded at 3 o'clock?
That was when it was uploaded for the previous hour, correct.
In your review of the records, does it appear that the uploads happens periodically on the hour basis, perhaps?
Every hour.
Okay. After Bart Halderson's phone updated the health app at 3 o'clock on July 1st, 2021, Was there ever any activity on that phone again?
There was not.
Judge, if you could just turn the UMO on, I just want to make sure I can display the relevant messages. And so again, we're looking at exhibit number 498, and we're going to start here. Is this that phone call to Mr. Job that you were talking about?
Yes, it is.
And so we have the date, time, June 29th, 2021, and then the duration of the call. You mentioned the text message shortly thereafter, June 29th, 2021, 3:27, the parties, and then that's the body, correct?
Yes.
And then we start talking about looking up Madison Area Technical College.
Says I spoke to Omar Job.
Display down that page, on page 2539.
From Bart to Chandler.
Page 2540. I think this is what we talked about. Some of these are things he's Googling or clicking on, and some are cookies. And we get to line 123. This is the health upload that you were talking about at 2 o'clock?
Correct.
All right. And shortly after that, we see this message at 2:10 on July 1st, 2021 from Bart to Chaz. I'm ready whenever you are.
Yes.
And that was his last message ever sent?
Correct.
Last text he sent to Chandler. I'm ready when you are.
And then just as we saw at 2, at 3 o'clock, we see another health upload.
Yes.
And then the page goes blank.
That was the last one.
Okay.
And they believe that police believe that Chandler killed his father right after that, around that time period, before the mother got home.
No further questions.
Cross-examination. Thank you. Now, the exhibit you just testified about contained more information, more entries than you just talked about, correct?
Yes.
So you just talked about the ones that you and Mr. Brown determined relevant to this investigation, correct?
To this specific point, there's been other references to that attachment.
To this specific point, correct?
Sure.
Now, in looking at Bart Halderson's phone, it's fair to say your investigation looked as much as you possibly could on that phone for potential evidence, correct?
Yes.
That's it. Thank you.
Any redirect on that point? No. Thank you, Detective. You can return to the table.
I'll call Stacy Sadoff from the Department of Justice.
Hey, Helen. Hey, Blanco.
We'll have Stacy at this time. Hi, good afternoon. You can follow that gentleman right there.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
She didn't have any points. But she didn't have any offense either, so, you know.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
If you believe you can safely and responsibly testify without a mask, that would be our preference.
Sure.
Thank you so much. And as you discovered, the chair doesn't move, it's bolted to the floor, but the microphone can come closer if we need that.
Okay.
Go ahead, counsel.
Good afternoon. Could you please state and spell your name for the record?
Stacy Sadoff, Stacey Sadoff.
And what do you do for a living, ma'am?
I'm a digital forensics examiner
With who?
with Wisconsin Department of Justice.
What does the digital forensics examiner do?
We do several things, but to make a long story short, we will look at electronic evidence, so cell phones, computers, thumb drives, tablets, and pull information from those devices and then conduct analysis.
What type of specialized training do you have in the area of digital forensics or phone analysis, things of that sort?
Yes, so I have done training through multiple softwares, digital forensic software specifically, that I've done on and off since I started in 2013.
I'm showing it's been marked in this case, exhibit number 466. Is that your CV?
Yes.
All right, I'll move 466 into evidence.
Objection.
It is received.
Were you asked to become involved in the case of Mr. Chandler Halderson and the homicides of Bart and Krista Halderson?
Yes.
What types of things did you do in the investigation?
So in this investigation, I was asked to do cell phone extractions.
Sure. There were a few cell phones brought to your attention in this case?
Yes.
Were you able to access all of them?
No.
What goes into whether you're able to access a phone or not in your job?
So with forensic software, newer phones, we oftentimes struggle with getting into them if they're password protected. So in this case, some devices were newer than others.
Sure. The older the device, the more likelihood that you're going to be able to get into it?
Yes.
Do you stay up to date with the newest technology and trying to break into these iPhones?
Yes, I try.
And it's fair to say Apple is constantly combating privacy issues with their phones and trying to develop phones that can't be broken into.
Yes.
Okay. And it's a back and forth sometimes.
Correct.
Okay. So amongst the phones that you were able to access in this case, was one of them the phone of Krista Halderson?
Yes.
So I'm showing you what's been received into evidence as exhibit number 385. And what does that appear to be?
One of the phones that was submitted.
All right. And that has a sticker on it, in fact, indicating that you looked at it or someone in your department.
Yes.
And I'm showing you it's been marked and received into evidence as 387. Found with this phone, what does that appear to be?
Driver's license.
Of who?
Of Krista Ray Halderson.
Got it. So with Krista's phone, were you able to perform any sort of extraction?
Yes.
Okay. And you placed that on some, it's transferred electronically essentially to computers and defense attorneys and things of that sort?
Yes.
Okay. Just showing you 374. Does that seem to be labeled the extraction of Krista's phone?
Yes.
Okay. I will move.
So they found her phone and her driver's license in like somewhere in the garage, hidden in the garage.
Move 374 into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
It is received.
In this case in particular, as you extracted the phone, did you provide that data back to the detectives who were working on the case?
Yes.
Okay. Sometimes you review all that data yourself and look for things?
Correct.
But in this case, a good deal of that work was done by the detectives?
Yes.
Okay. Another phone I'm going to ask you about.
A shoebox. Okay. Yeah. I don't know why I was thinking it was in a shoe, but it was in shoeboxes.
Is a phone belonging, or that was purportedly Chandler Halderson's old phone. Were you able to review something that you believe to be one of Mr. Halderson's older phones?
Yes.
And
why
do you think it was an older phone, or what gives you that impression?
And I don't know what's going on here, y'all. There's some noise going in the background.
Statement is going to be made one time.
The phone was an older make and model as compared.
So I cut it off here because I don't know what was picking up this other noise, but I don't think it was me. I think it was coming from the recording, from their thing. So anyway, she basically came on and they talked about the fact that he had used his mother's phone to text him like he was his mother, saying they were, going to leave and go to the parade. And then, of course, he got busted because the parade wasn't on the 4th of July that year. It happened to be on the 3rd. Wasn't it on the 3rd? So that's part of where they put it together that was him texting. Yeah, I went live. You know me. I just went live spur of the moment. Yeah, so it was in a shoe. JPC said the phone and the driver's license was in a shoe, wrapped up somewhere in the garage. Like he was trying to hide it. He's not a very good criminal, is he? Okay, do you guys want to watch Do you want to watch his friend's testimony, the Smith guy? This is, I think he was in Germany. Was he? I don't know why I'm thinking Germany. But anyway, he was in another area. He was the guy that he would play online with Chandler. He would play online games with Chandler because everybody else was working, and this guy was in a totally different area of the. I think he was Germany. I don't know why. Let's watch it. Let's just watch it. Forget it. Just don't listen to anything I'm saying. Let's just watch it. It'll tell us right here.
Exposed to conversations, engaged in conversations, or otherwise researched or learned or sought any information about the case? I see no hands. Thanks very much. We're going to continue with the state's
All right.
case. If
Was
you
it
recall
Cher
your
or Coffee
witness-
Cake that said this was the best testimony?
Do you believe you could testify safely and responsibly without wearing a mask? That would be our preference if you can.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and remove your mask then. And next I'll ask you to please stand so that the oath can be administered.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth?
I got to play the cross too. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And then you can pull the microphone back up nice and close. Perfect.
Good afternoon, sir. Could you please state your name and then spell it out so everyone who's taking notes just knows how it's spelled?
Andrew Smith.
And how do you spell it?
Alpha, November, Delta, Romeo, Echo, Whiskey.
Okay. And your last name, Smith, common spelling?
Sierra, Mike, India, Tango, Hotel.
And how old are you, sir?
22, sir.
And what area of the country do you live in?
Kansas, sir.
Do you know someone by the name of Chandler Halderson?
Yes, sir.
How did you meet Chandler Halderson?
Playing video games while I was stationed in Germany, sir.
And do you see Mr. Halderson in the courtroom here today?
Germany.
Yes,
I'm not
sir.
crazy.
What's going to happen here is the judge is going to give some instructions, and then I'm going to ask you where he is. So wait 1 second.
I would ask everyone who's not in the jury box to lower their masks for just a short moment so that all faces are observed by the witness. You can replace your masks. Thank you.
Did you see Mr. Halderson here in the courtroom?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me where he's sitting and kind of what he's wearing?
Over on the right, sir, in a suit, sir.
And that's the.
Is he at a table?
Yes, sir.
Very good.
Oh, that's the
Record
record
will-
reflect identification.
It will reflect that identification.
Sure. Let's talk a little bit about, I guess, that time period in which you met Mr. Halderson. You said you were stationed over in Germany.
Yes, sir.
Were you in the military?
Yes, sir.
What branch?
Army, sir.
And where in Germany were you stationed?
Ansbach, sir.
And whereabout is that?
Middle of BFE, sir.
And how did you meet someone who lived here in Wisconsin while you were in Germany?
Playing video games on Arma 3 server, sir.
And what type of video games were you playing?
Mostly FPS, sir.
What type of game is that?
So a go around, complete objectives, and capture certain scenarios, sir.
Is it a shooting game?
Yes, sir.
And some people on the jury maybe play video games, other people don't. If you had to explain to someone how you end up meeting someone playing a video game, could you describe how that happens?
So you'll connect to a server, and then you can type in voice channels or type in voice channels. You can type in text channels, meet people. You can die by other players and interact through them like that by just typing them, or if you guys get in a voice altercation at safe zones where some players can't necessarily hurt each other.
Okay. And so how about did you end up meeting Chandler? Was he just in one of these games and you talked to him?
Yes, sir.
Did you talk to him a lot?
Yes, sir.
Did you develop a friendship?
Yes, sir.
About what time was this? What year was this?
I want to say it was 2019 or 2018. It was shortly after my son was born, sir.
And how often, if you just had to give us a general overview, how often would you play video games with Chandler online?
Almost every day, sir.
Okay. And would you be talking and communicating during that time period?
Yes, sir.
At some point, you start to learn a lot about Chandler, I would imagine.
Yes.
Okay. Did you have any idea of, at the time, kind of what he was doing in life, school, work, anything like that?
As far as I knew, he was going to college in one of the towns somewhere in Wisconsin and doing all that.
Okay. At some point, you end up coming back to the United States.
Yes, sir.
Military service was over?
Something like that, sir.
Okay. At any point while you were in the military toward the end of your service, did you suffer an injury yourself?
Yes, sir. I was in Germany, and I was coming off the 50 cal range, and a German totaled our Humvee, and I got in a Humvee wreck. So I slammed my forehead on a hard side wall of the vehicle, unfortunately. So
you had a head injury?
Essentially, sir.
Okay. Were you talking to Mr. Halderson around this time, in between that head injury and when you came back to the United
Yes, sir.
States? When you came back to the United States, what state did you move to or live in?
Kansas, sir.
Is that your home?
For now.
Okay. Had you ever spent much time in Wisconsin before?
No, sir.
After you moved back to Wisconsin or to the United States, did your frequency of playing video games with Mr. Halderson, did it increase, decrease, stay the same?
Increase, sir. I was in the same time zone.
Okay. And would you continue to play the same types of games?
Yes, sir.
All right. Is there any specific weapons that Mr. Halderson liked when he was playing these games?
It really depended on what we were playing. On Tarkov, or Escape from Tarkov is what the game was called. It would range for realistically to whatever we could find inside the video game, because not everything was necessarily easily to collect, but the SKS was certainly a weapon that was fun to use in Tarkov and was something that I had grown interest in as well.
And around this time, after you came back to the United States, did you learn anything more about where Mr. Halderson was in life? Had jobs changed, school changed, or was things the same for him?
Essentially, what I understood was he was still going to college, and he at some point had gone back to Windsor, or I think it's called Windsor, and had started working for some company installing solar panels or working on contracts for solar panels.
At any point in your discussions with Mr. Halderson, did he get another job, or was that the last job you knew him having?
As far as I know, that was it, sir.
At some point, you decided to come visit Chandler.
Yes, sir.
Whenabouts was that?
Sometime during, I think it was June, sir.
Of this past year?
Yes.
In generally, how did that come about? Did he ask you to come up? Did you decide to come up?
So it was one of those last minute decisions I was able to make, sir. So my wife had ended up going to visit family in Ohio, and she was going to be gone for 2 weeks. So I went and looked at how many points I had. I was able to take off work, and I went and called off work that day so I could come up and have a weekend with driving up there and then spending 2 days with him, sir.
Had you ever been to Wisconsin before?
No, sir.
It's a long drive up here.
No shit. Yes, sir.
It's okay. So everyone slips up. I'm showing you what's been marked in this case as exhibit number 392. Is that you and Chandler up here?
Yes, sir.
All right. And I'll just move 392 into evidence. I'll just show it to the jury if that's okay, Judge.
Any objection?
No
to it?
objection.
It's received. You may publish.
Where'd you stay when you were up here with Mr. Halderson?
In their family home in the basement, sir.
Did you meet his parents?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you were up here, what kind of things did you do for fun? Where'd you go?
So we went swimming at some river at some point, and then we went and drove around to the different department stores, and we're looking at weapons and all that. So we went to Cabela's. We went to, I want to say it was Bass Pro, but that doesn't sound right. I know we went to Gander Mountain, and then we went to like 1 or 2 other places, but I can't remember what they were.
Okay. Showing you a photograph labeled exhibit number 563.
Jesus.
Did you take that picture?
Yes, sir.
And what is that?
The river, sir.
That you went swimming?
Yes, sir.
And who took you there?
Chandler and his girlfriend at the time.
All right. I'll move 563 in evidence.
No objection.
It is received.
And I asked the publisher on the Elmo. Actually, it's not set up right now. I'm just going to show everybody. Was that a river or a lake you were swimming at?
River, sir.
And was there a city across the street or across the river from there?
Yes, sir. And there was a bridge on the right.
Having never been to Wisconsin before, you don't know exactly what river that was or where you were?
I'm just here, sir.
Okay. How long did you stay up here with Chandler and the family when you came to visit?
So I got up there on Saturday morning, right around 5 a.m., I think. And then I stayed there until Sunday evening around 1700, and then went and departed and was able to arrive back home on Monday around 2 or 4 in the morning, somewhere between, sir.
Okay. When you visited Wisconsin to see Chandler, you brought him a gift.
Yes, sir.
What did you bring him?
I brought him a 20-inch barrel SKS.
How did you acquire this gun?
So I had purchased it on a gun broker, and I went and had it sent to my FL, and then I went and sat in the FL until I went and did the FL transfer. So I purchased it initially because I really thought like, oh, well, I like it in the video game. I might like it in real life. And then I fired it. It sat in my safe and then I never touched it again. And then it just dawned on me like, well, I'm going to give it to someone who might actually appreciate this weapon and take care of it and all that. So I ended up giving it to Chandler as a gift.
Okay. So while you like guns, you didn't particularly love this gun.
No, sir.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as exhibit number 391. You know what that document is?
Yes, sir. It's a FFL transfer paperwork, sir.
And you've been saying the phrase FFL, correct?
Yes.
What does that mean?
That's a federal firearms license holder.
Meaning someone who's licensed to sell firearms and fills out
Yes,
paperwork.
and does the correct background checks and such.
Got it. I'll move 391 into evidence.
No objection.
It is received.
This document has your signature on it and the person who sold it, their signature, correct?
Yes, sir.
And it has the serial number of the weapon that you purchased.
Yes, sir.
Got it. Now, when you gave the gun to Chandler, did he pay you for it?
No, sir.
It was a gift.
Yes, sir.
Did you document in any way transferring that gun to him?
Yes, sir.
How did you choose? Did you fill out paperwork like this?
I took his photo ID that the state issued him, and I took it right next to the serial number, annotating that this was me giving this weapon to this individual. So that way, if anything like this would occur, that it wouldn't necessarily come back to me.
Okay. It was important to you to document that.
Most times it is, yes.
Okay. So I'm showing you what's been marked as exhibit number 393, 394, and then maybe a more zoomed in version, which is 564. Do those all appear to be just general versions of what you did there?
Yes, sir.
And so these are Chandler's driver's license and the serial number of that weapon.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'll move 393, 394, and 564 into evidence.
No objection.
They are received.
And I'll publish them to the jury just by showing it, if that's fine with everyone. Oh. So I'm showing first this one. This is Chandler's ID, and then you put it up next to that serial number.
Yes, sir.
Another version zoomed in, same thing.
Yes, sir.
And then the actual serial number zoomed in a little bit closer.
Yes, sir.
Can you read the serial number for us of this gun from the zoomed in picture?
Yes, sir. 1017948 Papa.
Okay. So 1017948 P. Paul. Okay. Had Chandler asked you for this gun, or was this just your idea?
I think he had at one point asked for it as a joke, but mostly it was my idea, sir.
You brought him other things that go with the gun?
Yes, sir.
What type of things?
So I had brought him a steel canister that had contained roughly 480 rounds of 7.62 by 39 steel case tool ammo.
And is that the ammunition that goes with that weapon?
Yes, sir.
And showing you what's been marked, exhibit 395, 396, 397. Do those appear to be that canister of ammunition?
Yes, sir.
And are you fairly confident that's the one you brought?
Well, I mean, I'm the only weirdo that stencils his ammo can, so yes.
You put those stencils on there?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'd move 397, 395, and 396 into evidence.
No objection.
They are received.
Publish to 396.
Yes, of course.
And so showing the jury this picture, when you say you stenciled this ammo can, what do you mean by that?
So I've got plenty of different kinds of rounds in my home. So I'll go and have different cans for them. And I take a spray can, I'll buy the stencil so I can make sure I know what I'm grabbing if I need something before I go to the range. So I'm not running around like a chicken with my head cut off trying to figure out what can goes to what.
So this yellow paint that says 762 by 39, that's you that stenciled that on there?
Yep.
And briefly, just showing exhibit number 398, 399, 400, 401. Do all of those appear to be the ammunition that was inside of that can?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll move 398 through 401.
No objection.
They are received.
And I'd move to publish. I'll publish just for purposes of just showing the jury something, 398 and 400.
Very good.
And these are just those ammunition.
Yes, sir.
Okay. There was a lot of ammunition.
A bit.
How did Chandler react when you gave him the gun?
Oh, he was happy.
do you mean? But how do you know he was happy, or how do you know that?
Because he had a big smile on his face when I had given it to him as a gift.
Were you aware whether his parents that he was living with were gun people or wanted guns in their home?
As far as I knew that, or what I was explained by Chandler, was that his parents understood the reason why firearms exist in this world. And not that they necessarily support having them, but they're helpful in situations.
Sure. To your knowledge, did Chandler have any guns?
As far as I knew, he told me that he had owned a AR-15 with a barrel extension that had to be welded on or something like that. It was kind of looked like an M16 almost.
Did you ever see that gun?
He had shown me a picture of it on on the app called Discord, but I don't have any documentation of that.
When you were here in Wisconsin, did you ever see any guns in the Halderson house?
I think I asked about it, but I think he said that they had it at the wherever their cabin was.
What did Chandler do with the gun? Were you able to figure out where he put it in the house?
Yeah, he had initially, so if you would walk down the flight of stairs in the basement, you would look left, there was like a little wood pile, and he had stuck it in the middle section there because I understood that they might not be happy about having this firearm. So, but he had told me he was going to be moving soon to do a career in SpaceX in Florida. So he was just going to take it with him and move out there with it.
Were there any magazines that came with the gun?
Yes, sir. 3.
How many?
3.
And those all went with that gun?
Yes, sir.
Were they loaded when you gave them to him?
Not initially, sir.
How did they become loaded?
I think we were bullshitting with the magazine, sir, and both of us and were like, he was asking me how to load it, so I was like, oh, and I was showing him how to pack the magazine.
Sure. Aside from, and I think we've got it, but aside from the gun, the 3 magazines, the ammo can, and then the 400 some rounds of ammunition, was there anything else related to the gun that you gave to Chandler?
The optic that came on the weapon.
The sight, if for most people. If people aren't gun people, what's an optic?
It's the same thing, essentially.
If I showed you that gun, would you recognize it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You're not going to touch it. The detectives, in fact, are going to touch it, but it's already been received into evidence.
Roger.
In this case.
Oh, I'm sure he feels horrible about it. He had no idea.
Detective Shunk, who I think you've met in this case, does that appear to be the weapon that you gave to Chandler?
Can you flip it over? Yes.
And looking at this zoomed in picture of the serial number from the driver's license photo, you can stand up if you need to. Would you confirm to me if that's the serial number, in fact, on that weapon?
Yes.
I think just because you weren't speaking into the microphone, because I asked you to stand up, that last response was yes, that is the serial number?
Yes, sir.
The magazines themselves, would you recognize those if you saw them?
Yes, sir.
How so?
Well, I don't remember. My brain doesn't always work correctly sometimes, but I can remember most things for firearms. So I know 2 of them should be made by ProMag, and then one has a metal bottom with some black screwed up something on it.
When you gave Chandler the 3 magazines, and obviously there's 1 gun, but there's 3 magazines, there's a good deal of ammunition, several hundred rounds.
480.
480. Were you giving him everything you had related to that gun?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you have any reason to keep any of the other things?
No, sir.
Okay. Just 1 second. We're going to show you some other stuff.
Gotcha.
And this might take a second. Again, you'll notice the detective's wearing gloves, so he'll show you anything and he'll turn things around if you ask him. He'll have to ask you not to touch anything.
Roger.
Roger. He is military through and through, isn't he?
Just so the jury knows, because of the break that we had in suspending the trial, I asked the detectives to reseal all of the evidence boxes since we weren't going to be able to access them for a number of days. And that's the process that's happening at this time.
And so, can you flip that box over for me? Showing you what's been marked as 288. Does that appear to be a magazine consistent with what you gave Mr. Halderson?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what defining characteristics are on that magazine that lead you to believe that is in fact one you gave him?
The big ugly splash on the bottom of the magazine, sir.
All right, and I'll have the detective display that to the jury. All right, and so we're going to do the same process with the next two. And the next exhibit we're going to deal with is 289.
Kimmy said if the jury doesn't believe any other witnesses, they will believe this guy. I know I would. Hey, just hear me out.
Again, same process. We're showing you 289. You can ask that be moved any way you'd like. Does that appear to be consistent with the magazine that you gave Chandler Halderson?
Yes, sir.
And would that fit to the SKS rifle that you just looked at?
Yes, sir.
We'll go to the next one. And while the detective's pulling out the next one, the last one, which I can touch the outside, is Exhibit 288. You yourself have fired this gun in the past.
Yes, sir.
Are you aware exactly how much ammunition you gave to Chandler?
Yes, sir.
How much?
The box ammo that I had purchased had 500 rounds in it, sir. I've shot roughly 20, didn't enjoy the firearm, and gave him 480 rounds.
And when you say 480, is that an estimate or do you know that to be exact?
That should be precise.
While you were here in Wisconsin with Chandler, did you all fire the weapon?
No, sir.
showing you that exhibit. You can ask for it to be moved any way you'd like.
Yes, sir.
Is that consistent with magazine you gave Chandler?
Yes, sir.
Did you discuss with Chandler when you gave him the weapon in June of this past year? Anything more about what he was going to do with it, other than I think you said he was going to move to Florida with his new job? Anything else? Did you discuss? Was he going to go hunting? Anything like that?
I don't believe so, sir.
You said you visited him over the course of a couple days. Did you give it to him right away or later on in the weekend?
I think it was either Sunday that I gave it to him, or it was someday on Saturday that I gave it to him.
After you gave it to him and he placed it, I think you said under boards?
It was, so it was almost like a bench like this, but there's a hollow center that had stuff stacked inside of it, and he just kind of shoved it in there since there was stuff blocking the front path of it from view.
Do you know where, did the gun ever come out after he put it in there? Did you ever see it again?
We could have, sir. I think we could have played around with it, just showing how it works. And like, keep in mind, I had this weapon for a couple months, just had it sit in my safe. So I've had plenty of time to figure out a little bit of the ins and outs of it. So.
Okay. Do you know where Chandler placed the magazines or the ammo box?
I don't recall, sir.
Okay. Did Chandler tell you anything more about his job at SpaceX?
Not really, sir. Just that he had an opportunity that he was looking forward to.
You left at some points and you continued talking to Chandler, playing video games after you went back home?
Yes, sir.
At some point, did Chandler suffer some sort of injury?
Yes, sir.
What do
As
you know
far
about
as I
that?
know, he went down the stairs and fell somehow and screwed up his head or his neck.
And did that injury, according to Chandler, did that end up impacting his job or anything like that?
As far as I knew, so it seemed that because of the injury, he wasn't going to be able to take a flight out to Florida to do this SpaceX thing. But other than that, he didn't really explain what was wrong, just that he wasn't going to be able to fly out there and he wasn't able to look at computer screens or anything like that with so much blur on the screen or motion blur.
Did you find out at some point that Chandler's parents were missing?
Yes, sir.
How did you find out?
It was shortly after the 4th of July when I had came back from Texas from visiting my other buddy. He had gave me a sort of, not hysterical per se, but a pretty upsetting call that his parents hadn't got back to him or he hadn't seen them.
Sure. And then the cadence of things was this was after the head injury?
Yes, sir.
Did Chandler tell you anything about the head injury in terms of specifics about what was going to happen or how
He
severe
told
it
me
was?
that he would have to wear a neck brace and that they were supposed to drill a hole in his head or something like that to alleviate some sort of pressure.
Did you talk to Chandler about his parents being missing?
Yes, sir.
Tell me about those conversations.
Well, day one when he told us, because he had told me and my friend that he's friends with that I visited when I was down in Texas, he told us that they had been missing. So we both suggested to him that, hey, if this is really a big concern for you, you might want to contact law enforcement immediately.
Okay. What did Chandler say to that?
He said, well, they might turn up, so I'll just wait a few days. And so it goes.
After that conversation, do you recall having any other conversations with Chandler about his parents being missing?
Just talking about how or where they could have end up at or what was going on with the situation.
Was Chandler expressing worry to you or that he was concerned?
He seemed concerned, yes.
Okay. At some point, sure, and obviously now you're aware that Chandler was arrested for what happened.
Yes, sir.
You began having to have some conversations with law enforcement because a gun that was found very close to Bart Halderson, Chandler's father, was that gun that we just showed you. And so law enforcement started talking to you, right?
Yes, sir. Well, I had reached out to them immediately upon figuring out that he had been arrested.
You've been cooperative with law enforcement the whole time, haven't you?
I'm not going to be a broken piece of glass, sir.
Meaning you'll help if you need to.
Yes.
Okay. The police, in fact, visited you down in where you live at some point.
Yes, sir.
You, when asked, had given.
I've
them
never
access
heard that
to
before.
things like bank records or your phone and things of that sort.
Yes, sir.
And you've provided photographs whenever you could.
Yes, sir.
Why was that important to you to assist?
Well, to put it bluntly, sir, I served in the Army, and I'm not going to get fucked for something that I didn't do.
Oh, okay.
Where were you? July 1st, July 2nd, 2021.
Crystal Beach, Texas, sir.
In fact, what is Exhibit 566?
Looks like my bank statement, sir.
And where's that bank statement show that you are?
So if you follow this down, so you can see that I went and did some sort of purchase at a gas station at Texas at 7:02. Then follow this down, 7:02 Lufkin, Texas. And then keep following it down. You can see 7:02 Crystal Beach, Texas. Keep following it down. You can see Lufkin again, sir. And then Crystal Beach, sir. And
What-
then
What is broken
more
piece of
purchases
glass?
at
I've
Crystal
never
Beach,
heard
Texas,
that.
sir. And then a few of interspersed things that my wife had been purchasing at Dollar Tree, apparently.
And where was she at?
She was in Manhattan still, sir, or Junction City, sir.
Junction City. And in all of these purchases, and this is a bank statement from the 1st, looks like through the 10th, there's not a single one from Wisconsin, correct?
No, sir.
Nothing from Illinois? No?
No, sir.
Iowa?
No, sir.
Minnesota?
Unless I have the power of God to teleport, sir, I don't think that's going to occur.
Understood. I'll move 566 into evidence.
So this poor kid had to be cleared too
I don't
when all
think it needs
this
to
went
be
down.
published
Bless
yet.
his heart.
Your bank statements can
Has
just be right there.
information been
I
redacted?
like him too, Lenny.
They have been redacted if ultimately.
All you can
anyone-
see is how broke I am.
That's fine. And in fact, at times, you're aware that the police verified your location in other ways, phone records and things of that.
I'm sure they did, sir.
Yeah. You were never in Wisconsin in July of 2021.
No, sir.
One second. Thank you, sir.
Cross-examination.
Good afternoon, Mr. Smith.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
I'd like to first ask you a few questions about that SKS that you purchased. Is it correct that you purchased that initially for yourself?
Yes, sir. Or ma'am, sorry.
Is it fair to say you're interested in guns?
In firearms, yes, ma'am.
You said you went and fired that SKS maybe 20 times?
I had shot it once and put 20 rounds to the rifle itself through my hands, ma'am.
After that, you decided it wasn't that appealing to you?
No, ma'am. Just too much kick, too much of anything that didn't make me happy about the weapon.
What do you mean by too much kick?
So each caliber of weapon or bullet will fire X amount of powder through it. So for example, the SKS, which shoots 7.62 by 39 or whatever it is in Russia, it shoots a bigger payload of powder versus 5.56/223, which shoots up to 27 grains of powder. So it's not as much kick, but you can still put enough firepower down range.
Why does the kick make it unappealing to you?
Because if I have to defend my family from a home intruder, I think 5.56 is going to be a lot easier and a lot faster for me to react with than a 7.62 by 39 rounds.
Compared to other guns or firearms that you've used, the SKS is somewhat louder than similar type firearms, correct?
Not necessarily. It depends. It really depends on a lot of things, along where the location is. If you're in let's say you're shooting it in here, it's going to be loud as hell because there's all the encasing around you. If you're outside, it's going to be not as loud, but it's still going to be pretty loud.
Louder than a handgun?
Not necessarily.
Under similar circumstances, louder than a handgun?
Possibly, yes.
Now you're familiar with your familiarity with firearms. You're familiar with the terms of flash suppressor or flash hider?
Yes, ma'am.
And what are those?
So a flash hider, depending on what you have, it can make either the ball flame that comes out of it a lot bigger. It can make it so when you're shooting or at a prone position, when you're firing, the weapon gets pulled forward versus sending the recoil back, so it's not as much. And it really depends on what you're talking about specifically. You can't just throw a flash hider in with one of the other things because they all do different things.
Potentially, they could also reduce the sound.
Not necessarily unless you have a suppressor.
So a flash suppressor can reduce the sound.
A flash suppressor, if you can go out and buy a suppressor with a tax stamp, yes.
So could any kind of silencer?
Yes, ma'am.
And you didn't provide any of those with this SKS when you
No, ma'am,
gifted it to
but with
Mr.
the
Halderson?
SKS's barrel at the end of it, regardless, it's kind of an act of God almost to put a suppressor on. So there's barrel threading, which was not on this SKS at the end of it. There might be a special attachment you can get and purchase and put onto this firearm, but unless you have certain special attachments, it might not necessarily fit in correctly or seat correctly, which can cause problems itself and cause an obstruction.
Bottom line though, this SKS that you gifted Mr. Halderson didn't have any of that.
No, ma'am. It's the standard end of an AK-74, essentially.
Now, when you gifted this SKS to Mr. Halderson, you talked about this procedure you use with taking a photo of someone's driver's license with the serial number from the firearm. Do you
Yes,
remember
ma'am.
that? That's not something you only have done with Mr. Halderson. It's something you've done anytime you've sold, transferred, or gifted firearms, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you've done that several times?
Yes, ma'am.
How many?
Depends on a lot of things. If I have, so I can have an AR-15 that I'll buy and I'll build it and then it'll sit in my safe for whatever reason for a long time. And then I can go like, oh, okay, well, go and sell it. But as per how many I've sold, that's none of your business, frankly.
Okay.
Oh. What? Oh my goodness.
That's really all I have. Thank you.
Any redirect? May this witness be excused and released.
He is both, yes.
Thank you, sir. Have a good
Yes,
rest of your day.
All right, there we go. Oh my goodness. He said that's none of your damn business. Snap. Okay, see. Mic drop. That's one way to end his testimony, isn't it? Oh, he was a funny witness. I liked him. You know what? Yeah. He was probably more worried than anything about it Chandler trying to point the finger at him. But yeah. This dude is on point. Blanco says, there ain't nothing about weapons that you can tell me that I don't already know. Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah, he did shut her down, Lenny. That was funny. All right, guys. Well, we've been on it for about 2.5 hours, and I'd really like to get this trial over with by early next week. I think we just have to watch a couple of more witnesses, and then we'll go into the verdict and everything. I mean, we all know the outcome, right? But we're going to see this through. So, all right, guys. Thanks for joining me here tonight. Thank you for your patience as I was out for a while there, but I'm back, and we're going to start trying to, I'm not going to promise anybody I'm going to stream every day because that was a lot, but I'm back. Okay. I will talk to you guys very soon. Got another upload on Judge Tammy tomorrow, so stick by me, and y'all have a beautiful evening. Stay blessed.